all of you doing so far on this weekend?
Good,
Doing very good, Mataji.
Good, good. That's how it should be. Okay. I'm just seeing whether it is broadcasting or not. And I think we are okay. So we can get started then with this short prayer to the spiritual master. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjan Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Welcome, dear devotees, to our Sunday morning Bhagavad-gita class, where we are reciting from the first chapter of the Bhagavad-gita, which I'm going to bring up on your screens. Let me know. Can you see it? Is it visible? Bhagavad-gita 1.23? Okay. Thank you. Very good. So now in the previous verses, we'll quickly go back to the previous verse just to get our connection here. We were talking, actually, Arjuna is starting to speak, and he's just getting ready to, with his bow and arrow, which are his weapons, he's just getting ready to start shooting. And then before that, he says, oh, you know what, let me just inspect who are there. Who are these people who are assembled here to fight? So in last week, we had a big verse there, 6 lines. And so he was saying that, please draw my chariot between the 2 armies. And then in today's verse, he's continuing the thought, and he's saying that, let me see those who have come here to fight, right? And who? A lot of people have come here to fight, but he particularly is referring to the Kauravas on that side, and those who are supporting the Kauravas. So he's saying that, let's see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. So who's the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra?
Duryodhan.
Duryodhan, very good. Okay, so here we go. Yotsyamānān avekṣe ya etetra samāgatāḥ.
You can't see the screen, Mataji.
You can't see the screen?
No, we can see it.
We can see Mataji.
Yeah, we can see it.
Did you find it, Mataji?
Okay.
All right.
No,
Did you find
I
it?
didn't.
It's from the website today, Mataji. It's not.
You want to drop off and join again?
Okay, Mataji.
Okay, so while Mataji is dropping back and come back again, I'll just put up the reading order. So today we have Aruni Mataji, who had joined us. And then, after that, I lost track. I think, was it Sudapa? It doesn't matter.
Varshana Mataji, and then me.
Okay, there you go. Somebody has memory. And then
And then Priya Mataji.
Priya and Suruchi. Right?
Suruchi Mataji.
Suruchi, okay. And where is our Priya? Here she is. Okay, there we go. And Mataji, can you see our verse number 123 now?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, good. All right, sometimes we need to reset our systems. Yotsyamānān avekṣe ya etetra samāgatāḥ dhārtarāṣṭrasya durbuddher yuddhe priya-cikīrṣavaḥ. So whose name is coming in today's verse?
Dhārtarāṣṭrasya.
Dhārtarāṣṭrasya. And whose name?
Dhārtarāṣṭrasya.
Dhritarashtra's
Son.
And whose name?
Duryodhana, Mataji.
Dhārtarāṣṭras is Dhārtarāṣṭrasya means the sons of Dhritarashtra.
Okay.
So that covers all the 100 of them. Whose name is coming here?
Dhritarashtra.
Priya.
Priya, yes. Priya Mataji's name is there in the word.
Oh.
If anybody ever asks Priya Mataji, you can say, oh, I mentioned in the Bhagavad-gita. Priya here. Okay, that was just to make it light for you here. So yotsyamānān avekṣeham ya etetra gataha dhārtarāṣṭrasya. So it's dhārta, dhar, not dhri, right? So although the name is Dhritarashtra, but when we are talking about his possessions, his sons, so it becomes dhārtarāṣṭrasya. That's the Sanskrit language. Durbuddher yuddhe priya-cikīrṣavaḥ. So very interesting, words here. Yotsyamānān, those who will be fighting. Avekṣe, let me see, right? So avekṣe comes from iksha, from eyes. Avekṣe, let me see. Aham, I, ye is who, ete, those, atra, here, right? So you see ete and atra, so there's a e here and there's a a, right? So at the end of it there's a e, and at the beginning of the next word there's a a. So etetra, right? Like that. So that this a got consumed. Samāgatāḥ. Samāgatāḥ means assembled, right? So samāgatāḥ, all have come together to the same place. Dhārtarāṣṭrasya, for the son of Dhritarashtra. Durbuddhe, evil-minded. So durbuddhe, one who has got buddhi, but it is dur, bad buddhi, evil-minded, right? Durbuddhe, and then buddhehe, but here it becomes R, because after this there is a consonant, yuddhe. So yuddhe means in this fight. Priya means well, and cikīrṣavaḥ means wishing. So cikīrṣavaḥ, well wishing, right? Those who want to see your good. Okay, so yotsyamānān avekṣe. Avekṣe means let me see. Let me see what those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It was an open secret that Duryodhana wanted to usurp the kingdom of the Pandavas by evil plans, in collaboration with his father Dhritarashtra. Therefore, all persons who had joined the side of Duryodhana must have been birds of the same feather. Talk about association. Arjuna wants to see them on the battlefield before the fight was begun, just to learn who they were, but he had no intention of proposing peace negotiations with them. It was also a fact that he wanted to see them to make an estimate of the strength that he had to face, although he was quite confident of victory because Krishna was sitting by his side. This is so much of faith that is there in Krishna. Right?
Yeah.
I was listening to you just say that Krishna is by my side, so I'm very confident I'm going to win. I was just, listening to some, one of our preachers here in ISKCON, and the teacher had a smile on the face, and somebody asked him that, can you tell me the reason of your smile? And he said that when a child is sitting in the lap of his father, why would he not smile? And it was such a nice observation. Like, oh, wow, this is how they think, right? I'm sitting in the lap of Krishna. What is there for me to, not smile? So we should keep that thing in the back of our mind that Krishna is there. And he will protect us. He will do our 99% for the 1% that we do. He will do that. So it's a good thought to stay with. It keeps us grounded, keeps us happy, and helps us tackle this world. Otherwise, that becomes very, very, difficult. This Maya is a very difficult thing to overcome. So let's look at the breakdown of the verse here. So Arjuna uvacha. This more emphasis here, less emphasis here. Yotsyamānān avekṣe ham. So avekṣe ham ya etetra samāgatāḥ. So this breakdown will help you. Dhārtarāṣṭrasya. dhārtarāṣṭrasya. Dhārtarāṣṭrasya, like that will become, right? So while we're breaking it down, it might be a little difficult, but it helps you see the construction of the word here. Durbuddher, yuddhe, priya-cikīrṣavaḥ. Okay, Arjuna Uvacha. All right, so let's do that. Starting with Aruni Mataji today.
Arjuna Uvacha yotsyamānān avekṣe yatetra samāgatāḥ dhārtarāṣṭrasya durbuddher yuddhe priya-cikīrṣavaḥ.
Yeah, very nice. So when you're pronouncing, just be mindful of this and difference between this and this. Right? This is dhar and this is dar. So this here it's dhārtarāṣṭrasya, not dar. So dhārtarāṣṭrasya, dur, not dhur, dur. This one is di. So D and DH. Da for Dawat, da for Delhi, and dha for Dhanush. What is the name of Arjuna's Dhanush?
Gandiva.
Gandiva, right. And what did Arjun do with his Gandiva in the first chapter? Do we know?
He kept aside the Gandiva as he did not want to fight.
He did not want to fight. So in the last verse, we see that he had set it aside. Visijya sasharam chapam. Right? So let's see, what did I do here? Something to keep that in mind. Dhanush. While I'm going there, just keep saying Dhanush, Dhanush, Dhanush. So you get the dha. Dhanush 46. I have gone beyond that, right? So evam uktva. So Arjuna is now speaking, right? Today, he's saying, I want to see all these people. And then he speaks some more. But then he says, having spoken on the battle speed, he cast aside his bow and arrow. So the very interesting thing to note is that Gandiva was his bow, right? But then he also has got his arrows in his back, right? And so he has cast aside both of them, my Gandiva and my arrows. He's saying, I don't want them. Visijra sasharam chapam, right? Chap and shar and chap, right? So we hear in the prayers to Lord Ramchandra, right? Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajaman Harana Bhavadev Dharanam. So it says, Ajanulambata, right? So he's got his very long hands, but what is he holding in his hand? Shar and chap, right? Bow and arrow. He's holding that. So here, what Arjuna has done is that he has set aside his bow and arrow and he's saying, I will not fight, right? Here in this first chapter, he doesn't say, I will not fight. He's just gone to the back of the chariot. He's put down his bow and arrow and he's shoka samigna manasa, shoka, right? So he's by lamentation, manasa, samvigna, is very distressed within his mind. So he's doing that. And then if we go to the 18th chapter, which is the last chapter, and we'll go to the last verse of this chapter. And who speaks the last verse of Bhagavad-gita?
Sanjay Mataji.
Sanjay, yes. And who speaks the first verse?
Dhritarashtra.
Yes, the Dhritarashṭra, right? Okay. So then what he's saying is that Yatra Yogeshwar Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shri Vijaya Bhutar Dhava Nitir Matir Mamaha. So it's saying that wherever there is Krishna, the master of all the mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will be certainly opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. Morality, that is my opinion. So Arjuna, the supreme archer. So you will be an archer only when you have your bow and arrows in your hand.
Right.
Right? And so to arm yourself, I mean, he was a Kshatriya, it was his job to do this. But on our side, we have to, we also need something. right? We need something. And I was listening to one lecture where the teacher was saying that he was going out with some brahmachari to go to some place to do book distribution or whatever they were going to do. So the teacher came in, sat in the car. The brahmachari also sat in the car, and then he quickly jumped out and he said, "Oh, I forgot to bring my gun." And this teacher was like, "Oh my goodness, what is this brahmachari doing with the gun? Why does he want to have the gun?" And then soon, the brahmachari comes back, sits in the car, and he doesn't have a gun in his hands. He was like, "What happened to the gun?" He says, "Yeah, it is." And it was his japa mala bead bag. And he says, "This is the gun that I used to fight with Maya." So yeah, so that is our Sacharam. But what I just want to emphasize here is that for us, that is what it is, right? Gandiva, that is our Gandiva. Our japa beads bag is our Gandiva. Okay. So nice, very nice, Arni Mataji. Let's go to Varshana.
Yes, Mataji. Arjuna uvacha yotsyamānān avekṣe ya ete samāgatāḥ dhārtarāṣṭrasya durbuddher yuddhe priya-cikīrṣavaḥ.
Yeah, do that last line again. Looking at the word.
Yuddhe priya-cikīrṣavaḥ.
Yeah.
Small e, Mataji.
This one?
Cikīrṣavaḥ.
Yeah, this is not small. This is big.
Yeah.
Cikīr.
Chi is small. Cikīrṣavaḥ.
Yeah. Kīr. Yeah, you have to give your full. Yeah, Kīr. Cikīrṣavaḥ, and not che or it's chi, and this is Kīr, right? Chi. You see, this is chi, small.
Yeah.
This is Kīr. Ra is here on the top. Cikīrṣavaḥ. All right. Very good. Sutapa Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Arjuna uvacha yotsyamānān avekṣe ya ete samāgatāḥ dhārtarāṣṭrasya durbuddher yuddhe priya-cikīrṣavaḥ.
Yeah. Yuddhe priya. Like priya. Yeah. Priya-cikīrṣavaḥ. Okay. What's the meaning of Cikīrṣavaḥ?
Wishing.
Wishing, right? What were the wishing?
Arjuna
wanted to see.
No, but this wishing is in the context of whom? Who were wishing?
The kings associated with Duryodhana.
Those who have come to fight.
Right. So the wish is not on the part of Arjuna. Arjuna is, he wants to see. So that, of course, that is a wish, but it's not, in this verse, it's not talking about Arjuna's wish. Arjuna is talking about the wishes of those others who have come here to please Duryodhana because he is his friend. And Duryodhana was very good at networking. Actually, if you look at it from the political, perspective, he was very good as a king, as a politician. All the kings supported him, right? Despite all that.
For Kali Yuga, he would have been the best.
I was just thinking that Kali Yuga was already rearing its head, from Duryodhana's actions from then itself for the transition to now.
Exactly.
True.
Exactly. Yes. Okay. Very nice.
So,
Priya?
Mataji, he did all the bad things which are possible, which are happening in Kali Yuga.
Yeah.
Duryodhana did everything.
Yeah.
In fact, I was thinking it's like a metaphor, like they say in Kali Yuga, the good will be swept aside and the evil will come to the fore and, will rule and get the fame and popularity and all that. So Kali Yuga is actually, Duryodhana is actually, sort of personifying all that. And
yeah, very nice. I never looked at the verse in that perspective, but yeah, it's kind of like, reaching out, predicting this is what's going to happen. Yeah. Yeah, very nice. So who's next? Priya Mataji?
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji. I didn't wish you. Okay.
Oh, no, that's fine. You're being here. It's well for joy.
Arjuna uvacha yotsyamānān avekṣe yayate tra samāgatāḥ dhārtarāṣṭrasya durbuddher yuddhe priya-cikīrṣavaḥ.
Shavaḥ. Okay, very good. Suruchi?
Arjuna uvacha yotsyamānān avekṣe yayate tra samāgatāḥ dhārtarāṣṭrasya durbuddher yuddhe priya-cikīrṣavaḥ.
Shavaḥ. Okay, very good. So how did you feel reciting today's verse? Everybody?
I think this is relatively easy, not such a tongue twister.
Yes. I could just go by how you all were reciting it, right? And you nailed down the dhārtarāṣṭrasya. That's good. Okay, so let's go then full blown now. Starting with Aruni Mataji.
Mataji, can you just scroll?
Yeah, there we go.
Arjuna uvacha yotsyamānān avekṣe yaetetra samāgatāḥ dhārtarāṣṭrasya durbuddher yuddhe priya-cikīrṣavaḥ.
Very nice. Okay. Go. Who's coming next?
Arjuna. Yes. Arjuna uvacha yotsyamānān avekṣe yayate tra samāgatāḥ dhārtarāṣṭrasya durbuddher yuddhe priya-cikīrṣavaḥ.
Now, this is so funny that, when I was married, I don't know how many years ago. So my husband was, we were looking at something. I think it was a triangle. And so we used to say ABC is a triangle. Now, he was educated in a Hindi medium school. So what do we call A, B, and C? So he said, avekṣe is a triangle. And I was like, why are you saying A? This is A is written there. Why are you saying A? It should be avekṣe. Avekṣe is a triangle. ABC is a triangle. Avekṣe. He was like, no, we say that, right? So that stays. I think that's what we do. Avekṣe, right? So sometimes that will come in our pronunciation also. Dhārtarāṣṭrasya, right? But Sanskrit is different. Dhārtarāṣṭrasya. So be mindful of the A verse. Yeah. Yuddhe, priya. No, it's not priya. It's priya, right? Priya-cikīrṣavaḥ. Okay, nice. Okay, go ahead. Who's coming next?
Arjuna uvacha yotsyamānān avekṣe yayate tra samāgatāḥ dhārtarāṣṭrasya durbuddher yuddhe priya-cikīrṣavaḥ.
Hari Bol. All right. Who's coming next? Priya Mataji.
Arjuna vacha yotsyamānān avekṣeham yayetetra samāgatāḥ dhārtarāṣṭrasya durbuddher yuddhe priya-cikīrṣavaḥ.
Very nice. And Suruchi.
Arjuna Uvacha yotsyamānān avekṣe ya ete tatra samāgatāḥ dhārtarāṣṭrasya durbuddher yuddhe priya-cikīrṣavaḥ.
Very nice. And so, Mataji, when you were reading from here or you were reading from here?
I was reading the bottom one, Mataji.
From the bottom one, right? So now try reading from here, but go full blown, full speed.
Arjuna Vacha yotsyamānān avekṣe ya ete tatra samāgatāḥ dhārtarāṣṭrasya durbuddher yuddhe priya-cikīrṣavaḥ.
Now go slow, right? Go slow in the sense that still read them together, but a little bit slow speed. And look at this breakdown and then recite the third line on the top.
Ya etetra samāgatāḥ.
Yes, now do it quickly, faster.
Ya etetra samāgatāḥ.
Okay, everybody, quickly. Third line.
Samāgatāḥ.
Ya etetra samāgatāḥ.
Ya etetra samāgatāḥ.
Ya etetra samāgatāḥ.
Ya etetra samāgatāḥ.
Mataji, I just want to say the last word. It's taha, right? Not taha. Taha.
Taha, yeah. Taha. Ya etetra samāgatāḥ. Yuddhe priya-cikīrṣavaḥ. Yuddhe priya-cikīrṣavaḥ. Arjuna Uvacha yotsyamānān avekṣe ya etetra, right? Etetra.
Mataji, it is tra or tra?
Tra. Because there is no bar there, right? Tra.
Samāgatāḥ.
Yeah, etetra samāgatāḥ. See, sometimes people might etetra, somebody might say etetra, somebody might say etetra, right? So it's everybody has got a way of emphasizing, and it's okay as long as you make the distinction between this and this, which means that whatever emphasis you're giving here, the emphasis on this one should be even more than that. So that distinction, that when the person is hearing, they see the distinction, right? What I'm saying is that we cannot treat this one and this one as the same. They are different. This is tra, this is ma, this is this is a. Somebody might say this is okay, then this is That's what I'm saying. You have to give more emphasis to this one as compared to this one. All of you have got different ways of emphasizing it, and and that's okay as long as the uniformity is maintained, the pattern is there. Okay, so good work, everybody. Here it was a nice verse. We will go and do the next one, which is what would be the next one? What was today's verse? What was the number for today's verse?
23.
23, right. So we'll do 24. And what is happening in 24 is Sanjaya Vacha. So now Sanjaya is going to talk. Sanjaya Vacha, Eva Mukto Hrishikesho Gudakeshena Bharata Senayor Ubhayor Matye Sthapayitva Rathottam. So Ubhayor is a word that will come quite often in the Bhagavad-gita. And what is the meaning of Ubhayor? Both, right? So Ubhayor is representing two, right? Ubhayor, both means this and that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me some more example of Ubhayor in life? The twos.
Oh, the Pandavas, the twins, Nakula and Sahadev.
Nakula and Sahadev. Okay, very good. So that's an example of two. Any other example of twos that you see in life?
Dualities.
Wait, sorry?
Dualities of life,
Oh.
Mataji.
Give me an example. Give me an example
like
of.
you say, black and white.
Yes. Okay.
Radha Krishna.
Radha Krishna.
Success
Energy
and
and
failure.
Success and failure. Right? And good and evil.
Happiness
Good
and
and evil.
distress.
Sorry, Sutapa?
Happiness and distress.
Happiness and distress, right?
Happiness and distress.
And then you will find all these, you'll find mention of all these, here. And so what I wanted to say was durbuddher, right? He's talking about evil, evil-minded. Today he talked about, right? The evil-minded friends, right? Evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. And so Ubhayor is an important thing because we have to keep on understanding that we are in a world of duality. There will always be this and that, right? And the opposite of duality is absolute, when we talk about the absolute truth, which is very difficult for us to understand from our limited faculties that we have from our senses, right? But we do try to go over there and we try to understand. But what we always do is that we wait on the mercy of the Lord. We rely on the mercy of the Lord to make us understand all this, right? And like I said, if we take one step, then mercy comes with 99 steps from the Lord.
Mataji, give me one, I just request you, Mataji. Please give one example, Mataji. Dualities, yes, understood. And you said opposite is absolute.
Absolute truth. Absolute is Krishna.
Absolute truth.
Absolute truth. Yeah, is Krishna, right? And what I was saying was it's difficult to understand because here in this material world, we are saying black and white, right? But if you go to the spiritual world, there's no difference between black and white. There's no difference between a human body and an animal body because everything is spiritual, right? So very difficult for us to understand that, that is what the absolute is. That's why if I go, and everything is animated. So if I go there, even if I am a stone, there's no difference between stone and a flower and a stick, a mountain and a river. Very difficult to understand because we live in this world of duality. So Tapa, what do you have to say?
Yes, Mataji, I have a question, but it's not from the verse. It's a general question. May I ask if you have time?
Let's see, depending on the question, if it's a question that we do our answer.
Mataji, I know we discussed this so many times in the class, but can you tell me one more time, the Krishna, Vishnu and Narayan, the difference?
Okay, so Krishna is the original, the first. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. From me comes everything, right? That's Krishna. And then Krishna expands. And who's the first expansion of Krishna? Krishna expands. Baldev, yeah. He expands into Balram, right? Then Balram expands, right? So and in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a very nice expansion. There's Chaturvyu, Narayan. So your question is, what's the difference between Krishna and Vishnu? The Vishnu, there are three Vishnus that we talk about, right? What are those three Vishnus?
Gato-dakshay Vishnu, Shiro-dakshay Vishnu, Karno-dakshay Vishnu.
Karno-dakshay Vishnu. Fantastic. This is fantastic. You have been at it for many years, but now you see how fluently it comes from your mouth, right? So the first, from all these Chaturvyu expands from Vasudev. Baldev is Sankarshan, Vasudev. Then from that Chaturvyu, Vasudev again expands. So that way we get to Mahavishnu or Narayan, right? Narayan is the one who is Mahavishnu, who is also our Karano Dakshay Vishnu. Karana means cause, right? So he's the cause, right? And then he expands, and how does he expand? From the pores of his body, you get these universes. Each universe comes out of a pore from his body. And then, so now we have got a universe in our hand. And the half part of the lower half of the universe is filled with water, right? and that is known as Garbhodak, right? The waters. So then that Vishnu is called Garbhodak Shayi Vishnu. Shayi means lying down, not sleeping, is lying down. And so Garbhodak Shayi Vishnu, right? So also inside that universe, there is a planet known as Dhruva planet or pole star, right? And there, or Shvetadipa. And so there is another Vishnu who is lying down. He's Kshirodak Shayi Vishnu. And the water there is Shir, milk, ocean of milk, right? And that Kshirodak Shayi Vishnu actually expands himself, and he's there in the heart of everybody. So if you are thinking like, we are saying there's Vishnu in our hearts, which Vishnu is it? Is it Karunadak Shayi Vishnu? Is it Kshirodak Shayi Vishnu? Is it Garbhodak Shayi Vishnu? So it is Kshirodak Shayi, the one who's in the milk, right? He's a milky ocean. He's also known as Paramatma. So when the Samudra Manthan is happening, the churning of the ocean, it was the Kshirodak, that ocean they were churning. Right? If you think where that ocean is, right? It's on the polar star. That's where they were. Okay, does that answer your question, Satyabhama?
Yes, Mataji, very clearly. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Mataji, so Narayana comes from Kshirodak Shayi Vishnu.
No, Narayan and Mahavishnu and Karunadak Shayi Vishnu are the same. They are known as, by 3 different names.
Oh.
So to speak, like Narayan will be more powerful in the sense that he's the one from whose pores the universes come out. Now, inside the universe, there's another Vishnu to, maintain it or sustain it, right? Vishnu
That's the material Vishnu?
There's no material Vishnu.
So remember we did the Srimad Bhagavatam, and then you said because there was, I'd asked a question about Vishnu, and then you said— I
remember that. Yeah.
So what is that? The Vishnu who is in the
material world.
Yeah.
But he's not material. You had asked that question in the context of demigods.
Right.
Right. So there are 3, when they say there are 3 demigods, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. So they are the ones who are controlling this material world. And that doesn't mean that Vishnu is material, just because we call him a demigod. Because demigods, we understand, are material. So, and I explained that when we were actually, after that, we were talking about the Brahma Samhita. Brahma Samhita explains it very, 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 very nicely. And sometimes people also joke. I was in sustaining engineering department for some time when I was working at Oracle. So sustaining engineering is not taken upon as a very bright side of the business. In any business, the ones who are the darlings of the business are the salespeople because they bring all the money. So, and then, of course, in research and development, they are the people who create that software, right? So we created Oracle database, there's software that you create. And then the sustaining engineering comes much later in the cycle, that you have created a product, now people are using it. And of course, because we are not absolute, we are defective. So we create defective software, and now the customer is using it and they are complaining. So the sustaining engineering job basically is to maintain the bugs. It's not something that challenges your creativity, like how when you're developing a product, the software engineer can think of nice, cool ways of presenting it, the interface, whatnot, right? But now, it's like, oh, this thing is not working. I'm pressing on this button. It's not. So now you have to go and look at it. It's not a very creative thing. And so usually that group of people is a little bit demoralized. And so it's really a challenge for the vice president of sustaining engineering to motivate the staff and make them think that whatever you're doing is important. And it is, right? What's the use if you make a beautiful thing, it doesn't work, right? So one of the examples that was given was that to create, you need a Brahma. To write a software, Brahma is there, is demigod, right? And then to destroy it, you need a Shiva, who's somewhere in between demigod and God, right? But then he said to maintain it, which is the sustaining engineering team, he said you need a Vishnu. Because maintaining something is very, very difficult. So he said, well, what you're doing is really, really good, because to maintain it requires a Vishnu. Brahma cannot maintain whatever he created. Whatever defects are there, Vishnu has to maintain it like that. So, Yeah, so talking about, the Vishnus and the term demigod, right?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, I was listening to Guru Maharaj's lectures today, and I really liked it, the thing that we are, you see, the creation which he did, we are Brahma did, we are very much inclined towards reading books and studying and understanding them, because our culture started from there, because Lord Shri Krishna gave him the knowledge, the gyan from inside, and he's holding the book in his hand. So books are basis. So this is how he explained it, and I really liked it.
Exactly, yeah. And the books are the basis, you see. This is the books. He's holding the Vedas here.
Yes.
In his hands, yeah. The book, yeah. And it is so interesting that, how if you are interested in something, then your eyes will see that, right? So because he's into book distribution, he could catch this thing. I mean, how many of you, honestly, realize that there is a book in his hand?
I realized it today, Mataji.
That's what I'm saying. You need a guru to point that out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Brahma, all that is, when you look at Brahma, is 4 faces, right? 4 faces.
Yes, Mataji, we always like to look at the faces. Yeah, we haven't we have seen this picture so many times, but
right,
still.
Right. And then book and then chanting.
Yes, and Kamandalu also.
And Brahm Samhita, Mataji, we have seen so many times.
Yeah.
And look at this, we never noticed it.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So on that happy note of book distribution, just wanted to let you know that we went out on book distribution yesterday in a marketplace, and the proprietor got angry with us, and so he called the cops on us.
Oh my God.
That's fun and that's thrill in book distribution. And I had actually made some prasadam and taken it over there for the team who were distributing the books. And then Garima Mataji came, and she had also brought some very nice sweets. And so I had little bags in which, I was packing them and making them very nice to give away. And they just, all the prasadam was gone like that. And so when they called the cops, and the cops came to us, one of our book distributors gave the cop, so the cop came, actually, he was a very supportive cop. He said that, I don't know why the proprietor is shouting. He called us to say that you are creating a disturbance, but you guys do your things very peacefully. I really appreciate what you're doing. Very nice cop. And he said, okay, let me go and talk to the shopkeeper inside and see what's bothering him. And so as he was saying, he's going inside, one of our team members says, no, here's something, would you like to have it? And now he's like a cop on duty. He said, no, I can't take it. But then he said, what is it? So we gave him that and explained to him what it is made up of, and then we gave him that. So this is what, yeah. I don't know why I brought this up, but book distribution has got its own thrills.
Yeah.
And so on that happy note,
did the cop give it to the proprietor inside? Maybe that
I do not know. I dare not follow him inside. The proprietor was very angry. He came out and shouted, yeah. They changed the management. We used to be, the old management was very supportive of us, but this one was a little bit annoyed. So last night I had spent some time calling the old proprietor and asking, what exactly happened? What did we do? Please forgive us if we made a mistake. But we want to distribute.
Where Mataji is in which town?
Which town? Here, Mountain View.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this was in Mountain View?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
so what proprietor? Like which place was it?
I can say that. I'm on Facebook.
Oh.
Yeah. But don't worry. So these kind of things happen. Yeah. But on the topic of books and book distribution, I was saying that it's fun.
Mataji, I am seeing one picture is the Brahma, the demoniac Parabas, that's all. So this is also like Brahma.
Which one? This one?
Yeah, there is another. Yes, Mataji, Brahma.
Somebody, all kinds of people make all kinds of pictures. Yeah. It looks like it's not demoniac. It's not demoniac though, if you look at it. It's just that his eyes look like that, right?
But the title is demonic.
Title, yes.
No, demonic paradise, Vicky. Yeah.
Oh.
It's so interesting that, how important eyes are, right? What you see and what you take in. So one of the things also that we should keep in our mind is what we watch and what we see, right? And the internet is there for free. So when you come across things like that and everybody's free to write things, whatever they want to write. I don't know what is written over here. So that's not my focus of attention. But if you find that things are not pleasing to the eyes, take that decision like I did right now. Get the demons out of your life. If something is not very representing Brahma very nicely. So, and also, this also shows bhakti because, in bhakti, there's an element of love, right? So, for example, if we have a child and we are drawing a painting of our child, we will try to bring out the best of the child, right? Or if somebody says, "Look, share a picture of your son or your daughter," we go through all the 500 pictures that we have, take out the best one and then send it, right? So we try, the object of our love, we always try to portray that in the best manner, right? So it's also when it comes to painting, I see a lot of paintings of Krishna also. People are very artistic and they get carried away with the art, right? For example, I saw one where there was Krishna and they had broken off his hand and then, the flute. So the artist was trying to emphasize something there. When I looked at it, it was like, I don't want to look at Krishna with the broken hand. You see, when there is a relationship there, and then the art will get expressed accordingly. Like you see how Aruni Mataji does her paintings, right?
Oh.
And so many art, like we look at it and we say, this is very good, right? But she comes on and says, no, I think I need to lighten this and, do this and do that. And like, oh my goodness, So when there's bhakti there and all these pictures, the ISKCON art, I really love ISKCON art, was drawn by, most of them were drawn by people here and who had no idea from way of cultural momentum, right? But then the bhakti brought out such fantastic art out of them, yeah.
But also, have you noticed, Mataji, I was flipping through the Bhagavad-gita the other day, and I guess people tend to do that. They tend to draw, gods or whoever they're drawing in their own likeness. So a lot of the pictures, they are more, the features and it's in the image, in more the Western image. So they tend to do it like that. Like the hair color and things like that.
Yes, it is very interesting that that you say that Jaki rahi bhavna jaisi prabhu murti dekhi tin taisi, right? And depending on the mood that you have, right? Now, however, having said that, if you read the Srimad Bhagavatam, right, and there it is describing Lakshmi, and the Lakshmi has got golden hair. So what is Lakshmi? Golden blonde?
Oh, so Lakshmi has golden hair?
Lakshmi has golden hair. That's what I'm just saying.
Oh.
Yeah. So Jagi Rahi Bhavna Jaisi Prabhu, from wherever cultural background that you're coming. I mean, if you look at, I have a picture of, a Japanese deity from ISKCON, Tokyo, right? They have got Japanese features. The eyes are little Japanese, like that. So they will draw in their, according to their understanding, according to their culture, whatever the samskaras are, whatever they see around it, they will do that. So that tendency will be there in the art.
No, so when you said Lakshmi, golden hair, did you mean that it's that's how they drew, that's how they painted it, or that's
no, the description. Oh. The description, it's golden hair, yeah. And then there's also a streak of golden hair on Vishnu's chest where Lakshmi puts her head, right? So little hair comes out there. And so that is also not black. I think it's silver or golden. And also Narad Muni is described as having golden hair and red hair. And so, he could be from Germany for all that you know. Now we are, and then in different yugas, when the Narad Leela happens, it could be a different soul who's taking the role of Narad, right? So we tend to see the world in broken pieces. This is Germany, this is Italy, this is that, right? But, it used to be one big thing, right? This Mahabharat war is going on. And then after that, what's going to happen? Our Yudhishthira is going to become the emperor of the whole world. It's the whole thing. Right? The verse from Bhagavatam said, Kirat Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasha Abhira Shumba Yamana Khajadaya Yene Chapap Ashraya Shraya Shudhyanti Tasme Prabhu Vishnave Nama. So he's talking about Kirat Hun, the Huns, as they call it, right? The Mongolians. And he's talking about if the Mongolians have taken shelter of the Lord, this means that, in those days, people used to take shelter. When Parikshit Maharaj was giving up his body, people came from China to Delhi to watch that, right? And I think in the first canto of Bhagavatam, I'm forgetting which verse, he talks about, and Prabhupada clearly says, I think Atri Rishi was from Germany. So he'll have red hair. And so if somebody is drawing Atri Rishi with that color hair, it's not inaccurate.
I just want
Krishna did have black hair, right?
Krishna had black hair, and Krishna can have any color hair because he's God.
But I'm glad he had black hair. At least there's some relation to us.
Well, then think about the brahmacharis who or the sannyasis who shed all their hair.
So there is one thing that I wanted to say. I agree with all the comments, Mataji. Sage Kapila was supposed to have red hair and blue eyes or something like that, right?
Yes.
He was supposed to be from North America or something like that.
Wait a minute. North America was not populated by Europeans at that time.
Yeah, but this is what
the faulty history teaches us.
Yeah.
This is the faulty history that Columbus discovered, right? And Europeans were there or not there. This is as much as we know, right? And we go to Shastras and then we look at Shastras, right? So Bhagavatam will be your point of reference. Is golden hair.
Mataji, I think some Native Americans have red hair and blue eyes, so we don't know, right? It could be. He could have been a Native American. Right. But as you say, we are looking at it in a limited scope. At that point, we don't know how the things were, right?
Yeah, that's true. Actually, even in Australia.
Exactly. I mean, people also talk about where was Lanka. Lanka is actually South America because you see a lot of cultural similarities. And there was an earthquake and the continents parted. Who knows, right? When all these things happen, everything, disappears and it gets created again. We don't know.
Actually, if you look at the ancient texts, I mean, I don't know which text, somebody had written about it. The Hindu kingdom, I mean, way back, I don't know when a lot of the land was not submerged by the sea. It stretched from India all the way to this area in San Francisco, and apparently this area of the Americas was all controlled by the Hindu kings. And they did a lot of homas and, religious practices they had here going on. And that's why, I don't know if you all agree, but, when I came to America a long time ago, and I'd been to different parts, but when I came to San Francisco, the atmosphere was completely different. I mean, you can feel it, like even when you're traveling, and not so much now, but even 20 years ago. And when you're in San Francisco, the whole atmosphere, you have this feeling of it's very different. And then when let's say you're traveling by bus or car and you step into like Los Angeles, that side, the whole thing changes. And I often used to wonder why. At least this was my sense. And then I read that this whole part was actually Hindu kingdoms, just like many parts of Russia were. And you see ancient Hindu relics in Russia as well. So yeah, like you said, who knows who came from where?
Right. And
Parikshit Maharaj was a king of the whole world.
Exactly. I was just going to say that. He was an emperor of the whole world. Yudhishthira. After that Mahabharata war was won, they were ruling the whole planet.
The whole planet.
Yeah, so we don't know the geography. I mean, things do submerge and then things do come out of the land also, Dwarka, like that. So fantastic. On that happy note, we need to take a break. Then is Sutapa here, who asked that question? She dropped off. All right. So we'll stop here, dear, with pranams to all of you. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Gopremanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Have a nice, fantastic
Dandavat
rest of
pranam.
this day.